Hi, this is Lisa Staley. I'm working with Nicole regarding chapters 19, 20, and 21. The first chapter is chapter 19, Nursing Knowledge in Human Science, Ontological and Epistemological Considerations. And the question in this first chapter is nursing a human science? Connors, Gertner, and Schultz refer to human sciences as the fields of biology, psychology, anthropology, and sociology. Wilhelm Dilthey, who was a German philosopher from 1833 to 1911, termed the word human studies as Geisteswissenschaften, and literally that word just means human studies. Dilthey was said to refer to people as a whole. He thought human life was an interconnectivity to other humans along with history. In the 1800s, Dilthey became increasingly aware of a crisis in science. He felt that life had been disconnected from science. Dilthey felt that the lived experience should have the researcher involved and should have a human component. Dilthey felt life was a process and it manifested itself in the dynamic unity of experience. Another philosopher during that time was Georgi. Georgi stated that a person is not a passive receiver of physical energies, but rather his or her behavior reflects intentionality. Georgi stated the researcher had impact on study findings. The meaning of the lived experience was important to the subject. Dilthey and Georgi indicated that ontological and epistemological attributes emerge for human science. Ontology is a phenomenon where human beings are unitary wholes in continuous interrelationship with their dynamic, temporal, historical, and cultural worlds. And that definition was taken straight from the Cody book. And then epistemology is research and practice that focuses on the coherent experience of the person's meanings, relationships, values, patterns, and themes. And that also was taken from the Cody book. Human science has significance in nursing. Nursing should embrace human science, and when doing so, the practice of nursing will become more philosophical. Some believe nursing has already begun to transition this way. There are 4 frameworks regarding the incorporation of human science into nursing. Patterson and Zidard's is humanistic nursing. Newman's is model of health. Human science and human care is the third. Parse's theory of human becoming. These frameworks are vital to human science because they lead to the belief of unitary conceptualization of human beings. The authors have also publicly renounced their disagreement with natural science approach to nursing. During analysis of the 4 nursing frameworks, Parse's theory of human belief was thought to be the most consistent theory. And they also thought that her theory actually added information and was vital to nursing frameworks and was the most consistent. 2 of the frameworks or thoughts in the frameworks were inconsistent. The first thought was that incorporating divergent beliefs, which includes human beings in wholeness, the intentionality of free will of a person, and the nature of reality. The second one is extending essential beliefs, which includes Parse's theory of human becoming. The human experience was excluded in this one. With divergent beliefs, with wholeness, the nurse has to see the patient as a whole person. Intentional, free-willed beings. The nurse seeks the lived experience of the patient. The nature of reality. The humans cannot experience life without their world environment surrounding them. With extending essential beliefs, departure from the human experience is the essential problem. Parsons' theory of human becoming mentions controversy statements related to nursing being a medical model grounded in the natural sciences. In conclusion, these frameworks, although there's consistencies and inconsistencies, Parsons' theory is still the most consistent with the human science perspective, and that which nursing primarily builds on. Which pretty much gets us back to the lived experience with the patient. Human science-based global health is a great example of that. A company who wanted to use global health to partner with the people rather than to speak for them is a great example of the lived experience. And that's the end of chapter 19. Chapter 20 is the professionalism and evolution of nursing as a discipline, a feminist perspective. Nursing in the beginning was linked to a patriarchal belief and norms. Due to nursing being primarily female dominated, a group of people decided to not be treated differently because they were women, which was called feminism. And feminism is seeking an end to the domination of women. During this time, women found strength in numbers, and they noticed that they were expected to care for others. They were expected to be caregivers, and this led to some early development of aspects of nursing that would eventually change. This women's movement began in the 19th century, and it was primarily women who were wanted to change that aspect for women, for other women, and for nursing as a profession. Nursing's domestic role was that we were caregivers, we were expected to love, and we were obligated to take care of. And then Nightingale began to rise in popularity and began to change a lot of those concepts due to the development of her schools and formalizing nursing just in general. And then in 1915, Flexner presented a new definition of professionalism. On page 244 of the Cody book, it reads, professions involve essentially intellectual operations. They derive their raw materials from science and learning. This material they work up into a practical and definite end. They possess an educationally communicable technique. They tend to self-organization. They are becoming increasingly altruistic in motivation. And that was from Flexner's book in 1950 on page 904. This rule or this definition surrounded professionals who were in law, medicine, and clergy. Flexner's definition was considered masculine ethos, a masculine belief. Rationalism, scientific standards, and objectivity were the main goals. And this was considered male-centered values at that time. Before Flexner made the professional statement of what professionalism was, American nurses were okay with their identity or how they were viewed as professional. After that time, nursing was viewed as inadequate, limited by a body of scientific knowledge and a developing program that was still not yet considered professional. Patriarchal professionalism has resulted in nursing adopting liberalist traditions, which includes research and practice, which is why we're in school today. Today's definition of professionalism in nursing is the practice of conducting appropriate nursing tasks in response to patients by utilizing technology, science, and theories in a clinical setting. And that is our definition today of nursing. And that definition was by Kim. The article was Development and Validation of a Nursing Professionalism Evaluation Model in a Career Ladder System. My last chapter is chapter 21, which is Rapture and Suffering with Technology and Nursing, Technology and Human Lives. Technology has shaped human life over the past several decades. Martin Heidegger questioned the worth of the influence of technology on health. He also thought that technological advances are thought to increase quality and duration of life. He spoke of the dangers of not accepting technology. However, he did state that how human beings will be needed during this technology and especially in advanced technology. He termed it standing reserve. He also believed that nursing practice as fixing to make someone whole again is the definition. He believed technological advances